Hello and welcome to another workflow skate commute video. Today's commute I'm going to be going to the Frank Irwin Center to cover a women's basketball game. This is a Saturday morning. It's around 8 a.m. It was a little cold, so I had to wear these removable sleeves I have there, and I went in and threw some gloves on because I'm tired of having my fingers be dead by the time I get somewhere, dead and frozen. So I rarely skate with the GoPro. We're gonna do that today. Another reason I decided to do that today was because sometime along on this route, I'm not sure if it's at 7 or 8 miles, it doesn't really matter, but I crossed my 7,000th logged mile. So I don't know how far I've gone in my entire life. I just know that since I started tracking in 2014, I've now crossed 7,000 miles skated. Not only that, but in that time I've also picked up some cycling and trail running, cycling both as a sport and for commuting purposes as well. And those miles are at 8,200. So it's pretty cool to me that I've even moved that far as a human by myself, like either under my skates. The majority has been under my skates, 7,000 of skating, about 1,000 of biking, a little over 1,000 of biking. So anyway, that's why I decided I'd come out and skate with the GoPro, get a little commemorated a little bit. And I've been wanting to do a commute video, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. I've actually also incorporated the GPS overlays here. I think I've got a cool setup going for that, so you can pay attention to that as I'm talking. It's really cool. You can see right now we're going up a little grade, and we've been going up this grade for a minute. So this hill right here it's not a terrible hill, it just keeps going. So you're skating and you're skating, and it's not a terrible grade, but it's just stretched out. So I start every day with this hill. I'm either skating on the sidewalk right here up this hill, or I'm on the other side of the road in the bike lane. So most of this ride tends to be downhill. You can see there on the elevation chart that it does have a general downhill direction. About halfway through it gets really fun that way. Until then it's just kind of a mix of climbing, flats, and a little descents. But we're still sidewalk surfing here. We're gonna be sidewalk surfing for a minute. So as you can see, I've got the headlight on my helmet. This helmet right here, the headlamp I have for my helmet is a modified GoPro helmet strap. So the reason I really like that is because I've incorporated other GoPro elements and I've just attached the light to those. So what I can do with that is use the thumb screw to adjust my angle of my headlight at all times. At any time I can just adjust it, tighten it, and untighten it. So right now it's daytime, so I've got it strobing. Here comes one of my favorite parts of this ride here. Boop. Jump the little hard pack. You know, it's hard pack. I could skate it, but who doesn't like jumping into a parking lot going 18 miles an hour? It's a great way to get going, start your day, which is another issue I had with this entire ride. I was not feeling it. My form is off. I'm being lazy on a lot of things. You might notice that. I still get a good speed, but I just did not feel good this entire ride. Right here I'm feeling good though, like flying through here. I love this section I've cut through. Instead of sticking to that main road on the sidewalk there, I've found this this pretty much back road. Pretty funny right there. I ran that stop sign, and there was a cop right over there, but it's a right on red. So coming up is my first stop. I wanted to talk about stops as far as commuting goes. You're gonna notice me do this snow plow. I honestly say I do this snowplow about 80% of the time. Why do I do it that much? I do it that much because it's easy. If I'm commuting, I am not concerned with doing tricks. I'm not concerned with getting into wheel slides. I'm not concerned with any of that stuff. I'm just concerned about getting from A to B, because if I'm commuting, I'm going to work. Oh, I kind of slipped up there. If I'm commuting, I'm going to work. I'm doing something. There's a purpose behind my travel. Therefore, like I'm only trying to travel. So I'm very aware of how I stop, energy expenditure, all of those things come into play when you're commuting. They do for me, at least. So this is a really nice rip right here. I love this. This is another part that I added to my commute instead of sticking to that main road, and it is such a fun part. You can see how smooth it is right here. It's very very speed conducive. It's got a little bit of a grade, but you're still going pretty fast. And I'm about to yell at this guy over here to stay in his lane. You always gotta watch. You never know what someone's gonna do in the morning. It's pretty interesting how people aren't paying attention, but here comes a so I hit about 26 miles per hour there, and I've always wondered, I love that rip right there. Every morning I take it. It's just a fun part, and I've always wondered how fast I've gone. You know, I can check on the GPS map on Indomondo, but it's a lot cooler to have it right here in front of you with all the metrics and just seeing your exact speed and everything. As far as the exactness of this GPS overlay, my GoPro wasn't set right as far as the time goes, so I had to manually adjust the GPS tracker with the video overlay, so it might be a little off, but I feel I got as close to the truth as possible. I do run the auto pause on some of these on my commutes, so what will happen is you'll notice that it'll be stuck at like 6 miles an hour when I'm stopped. It won't drop down to 0, and I think that's just something with the Indomondo auto pause feature. So here comes another longish grade. You just kind of climb for a second. It's we're at 1.5 miles. Let's see where it ends up, but you can see it went from 1% to 3% grade already. It's just a pretty terrible hill just because you're on the sidewalk here, but there's no bike lane there, and I would much rather, even on my bike, I tend to stick to the sidewalk. It's just a really busy road. The bike there does allow for bikes. You see it on the street I just passed the symbol, but it's just not worth it sometimes. You know, you got to pick and choose your battles. For me, I would rather get where I'm going than be in the right or something like that. So if I have to take the sidewalk, I'll take the sidewalk. I don't care, but I'll just as likely to take the road. See, we're at 9% grade now, and 1.6 miles. It's only a tenth of a mile or whatever climbing like that, but it's a nice grade. It stretches out. Right there, I don't know if you noticed, you could see some of the side reflective stickers I put on my light, or on my on one of my buckles. I'll get into that more later. I don't think you could see it very well, but right now we're about to be getting off the sidewalks. Not too much longer, but right there, I just gave the I just had to give the over the shoulder, you know, just to make sure there's no one on my left that would be turning right. It's very common. I'm sure you've noticed it before, but people need to think about this kind of thing when they're skate commuting and just skating in general. If someone's turning right, and I guess this is America, but if someone's turning right, they're not really necessarily going to be looking to the right. They're looking to the left to see where that other car is coming from, so they can turn out into the right. So just be aware of that, especially when it's a right turn. It's highly likely that someone's not going to be looking. They're just going to be concerned about if someone's coming left, so they can get out of there. So just always give the over the shoulder look, a little confirmation with the driver, just some sort of communication that it's your light. Alright, so anyway, we're still rolling down here. This is one of my more favorite rips too. So I could have gone another way, but that way they fixed a pothole that I used to use to get air, and it's just not as fun anymore. So I decided to come here because this is a fun little downhill rip, and you get going pretty fast, and you hit this nice little bump. It's one of my favorite parts. Here it is. Boom. And it's not see, I'm even enjoying it right now, and on the video you can see me smiling even more. But I'd really like to get that from a second angle. The only times I've ever got it is whenever I've been here's some 1 foot, boom, the double 1 foot action. I don't know if you've seen some of that going down, but the only time I've ever got that little jump there is with the GoPro, and it's not a huge jump or anything. It's just like one of those cool little ski jumps. You know, you're going so fast and it takes so little effort, and you're just kind of shooting it. It's probably like a good 8-9 foot that it shoots you, at least lengthwise. So if I wasn't holding a GoPro, maybe I could just like jump the whole thing a lot better. But here comes a more one of the more terrible parts of the commute. It's just a real narrow sidewalk. Now that it's winter, all this stuff is dead, but usually there's a bunch of overhang of weeds and just all sorts of muck and mire getting in the way. And then sometimes they do mow it, but then they leave it on the sidewalk. So I really don't like a lot of these sidewalks. I try to stick to the roads as much as possible. They just tend to be safer for a multitude of reasons. But like I've been saying, as far as with skates, to me, all the possibilities are open. So that's why I just love skate commuting and skating in general, because everything is open. You know, you can just skate where, as long as you can skate it, of course. But so right now I'm actually on the side of it's 183 here in Austin. So this is another sidewalk. You can see it's a 7% grade there. It just slows me down. It's another slow down point, but it's like another necessary connection point. If I would have gone the other way that I was talking about, it's a more of a direct connection and less of a hill climb this way. But at least the way I went today, on this day, I get that nice fun ride with the little air and other stuff going on there. So here I'm switching up the hand I'm holding this GoPro with, because I didn't know how heavy this thing would be. I got this new GoPro. It's super long, so it sticks out there. So that might contribute to some of the weight, but I also have the GoPro battery pack on there. So this GoPro is the 4, so it dies all the time. I have to carry 4 or 5 spare batteries. That's why I don't make a lot of videos right now. It's not just the only reason. It's just time consuming, and it's always hard for me to reconcile detracting from skating to show people skating. As far as like for me doing that video wise for myself, and I have made a lot of videos in the past. Not a lot, but I've made videos in the past. It's just, it's always hard for me. I want to do professionally. I'm a cameraman. I've been on sets, DP, all that kind of thing, you know. When I'm shooting, I want to be shooting. When I'm skating, I want to be skating. So it's hard for me to not want to do one full blast, and I would rather not do 2 things average. I would rather just focus my attention on one of the things. But you can see right there, there's that reflective sticker I was talking about. I just put that on the side of there's the buckle clasps there on the side. Just anything to attract more attention, you know, anything that's gonna shine some light, especially at night. There's my backpack is so outfitted for night vision. So what I've got is, on the buckles, I have those stickers you just saw. I'm running 2 tandem red LEDs with you know, various lighting modes. I have the right there. I just had to do the double check. There's a very busy intersection into that shopping center. So I also have the flashing strobe on. It also has solid, of course, for night riding. I didn't ride my dupe lights. You can see them right there above my ankles. There's the right there above my. Ooh, I love that turn too. That's a fun ski style turn. You can see the lights there. I didn't run them this morning. I don't really like running those as much in the daytime, because I just want to save the battery. I figure what I have on my head is enough. But at night, what I'll do is I'll ride those strobing to attract attention, and I'll ride my headlamp solid. My helmet also has a rear. My helmet also has a rear attached light, and that one I'll run either solid at night or strobing during the day. The reason I run it solid at night is so drivers can see a solid light, as well as the attention of my 2 strobing red LEDs on the back. And I'll get into that here later. I might show you guys, find a way to sneak a little video of that in here if I haven't done it already at this point. I'm just kind of fleshing out ideas here for these videos. So right now I'm going 17 miles an hour, 0% grade. I've just feeling comfortable at this point, and I thought I was dead asleep, which I think broad strokes I'm awake, but there's a few little foot things that happen throughout this ride that, you know, kind of like jolted me awake a little bit. Right now I guess we're really, if you look at the elevation chart, we're kind of at a more mellow spot in the ride where it's just kind of, you know, slight differences in grading and up in elevation. That right there is what we call a Saturday morning stop. There's going to be a few more of those peppered throughout this ride. I'm a little liberal with those at times. It's Saturday morning. What can I say? I ride completely different on the weekdays. You have to. But, hey, whatever. It's all good. So I definitely know this route like the back of my hand. I've been thousands of miles. Like literally, well, not thousands, about 1,500 maybe in the past year on this route. So I do know the route. I know how things operate on here. It's a really cool route. As far as this section, it's just quiet neighborhood, very smooth roads. There's just a few connecting areas that aren't as smooth, but you can see the grade is 0. This is actually, just like I said earlier, this is one of the more mellow parts of the ride. Just kind of like tucking in here, getting into the groove. I adjusted my headlamp earlier. Comes a little slalom action. I remember this feeling particularly good this morning, just kind of flowing into the slowdown, checking the road and crossing. Felt really good. So we're just going along here. I'm not sure, maybe here. Let's see. A little Saturday morning stop there. It's coming along. You know, this is, I might pull the audio up here. This is a very rough segment, and when I used to ride this on 3x125, I used to feel a lot better. On 3x110 I can definitely feel it. I don't lose too much speed, obviously. I'm still going 16 mile an hour there, but it is definitely more noticeable, as well as this nasty concrete I just rolled through. So that guy right there was just totally not looking. He was taking up the middle of the area. It's just, or the middle of the walkway. I don't understand some people. I don't understand how you go anywhere without looking. Like right there, I want to cross. I'm looking the entire time. I was already looking forward. I knew what was coming. Look over my right shoulder, make sure I could cross, and boom, we're good. Again, this road right here is usually jam-packed with traffic, but it's Saturday morning, so there's not that much going on right now. At this point, I'm going to use sidewalks more for connecting. I'm going to stick to roads more from this part of the commute onward. Again, always mixing it up, though. I'm never going to sit there and say, or sit there and put myself in the corner with my skating, you know. I'm not going to pigeonhole my skating, basically, is what I'm getting at. So another thing with this neighborhood here, there's constantly foot traffic. So people on bikes, people jogging, people walking their babies and their strollers. So that's another thing about knowing your route. I know that this neighborhood is like that. So I know how it operates, and I know how I have a good feel for all the areas I skate through in that kind of sense, because that's part of knowing your route. Knowing your route isn't just knowing the streets you're going to take. It's knowing why, knowing when, knowing what's better at what time of the day, if it's night. You know, there's a lot of things you can do to iron out a solid commute. One thing I would really like to emphasize for people is night safety, man. You got to be lit up. like I was saying earlier, when I'm at night, I have headlamp, 2 flashing lights on my dupes down there. The dupes have a reflective paint on the rear cuff, and then I have all of my lights in my backpack. If I'm not on my dupes, I have reflective ankle wraps that really light up. So I can't stress enough how much you need to light yourself up at night. There's always fun to go out on a ninja stealth mission. Like right now when I'm wearing all black, I'll go have fun somewhere and go skate at night, just ninja stealth mode. But if I'm trying to get somewhere, or if I'm going to be around traffic, I am definitely going to make myself noticeable. I'd rather be that geek with so many lights that people are able to say, hey, yo, look at that geek over there, versus, boom, hey, what was that? What did we just hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something I feel very strongly about. I ride by a ghost bike on this commute today. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but it's just something I feel very strong about. Right here, I'm delayering. It was cold when I started. I run hot anyway. I was questionable on the sleeves to begin with, and here I am having to take them off because I'm already sweating. And this kind of thing happens to me when I'm doing my distance rides in the cold too. One of the worst things possible is to start sweating when it's already cold outside, because then you're gonna start freezing, and it's just that much more terrible. So always dress. They say when you're running to always dress like 10 to 15 degrees warmer than it's gonna be, or than it is. So if it's 50, dress up as if it's 65, because once you get moving, man, I would say it's even different with skates. With skates, I would say you can probably get away with 20 to 25 degrees warmer. Yeah, I run hot, so right now I'm just putting the gloves back on because, like I was saying, I get tired of getting places and my fingers are just frozen solid. So this is actually a divergence from the commute I usually take, the road I just took to get up to this thing here. The reason I did is because there's this road right here that I'm on called Yates, and it's a lot smoother. Came to discover that it has a really nice slope to it. It's not too extreme, but it's more importantly, it's a smooth road. You don't have to put a lot into it to get a good speed going on it. And it links up with another road that I've been taking recently, because there's a part coming up. I actually ride the tail end of this segment. It's called Arroyo Seco. It used to be a really nice area in town as far as the divided bike lane, really protected bike lane, really nice asphalt, but time's just done a number. I want to come back right there. That roundabout I just cleared, I want to come back and jump that whole thing. But again, I need someone with a camera versus me just being out there with my GoPro. Or definitely not going to set up a tripod on the street. But right here, I'm going a good speed, 2% grade, and I'm just kind of chilling on it. You can tell I'm not putting a lot into my feet. I've still got a full day of work I need to do, so I'm just kind of energy management. Here comes like part of the stop here. I'm just easy stops. I'm putting just as much force into each wheel, so I don't get some crazy uneven wear. Right there, that's more a busy street, so I slowed it down a lot more. More of a yield, but like I said, it's Saturday morning, man. I'm just trying to skate. So right here to I guess my left, there's this school with a playground, and it's pretty cool when I blasting through here and there's kids out there playing. You can always hear them cheering me on. They think it's so cool. So hopefully a couple of them maybe want to pick up some skates one day. Just have the random story about some guy that used to fly by their school. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good at this point right here. Just cruising along. Got about 24 minutes into the ride. It took me about, I forget what it was, maybe 44 minutes. We'll see at the end of the ride. But it starts getting a little rough right there. Just kind of pushing through. The thing with the roughness isn't so much it's just annoying when you're commuting. You know, I'll ride whatever whenever I'm doing distance and any other kind of skating. I mean, obviously I ride whatever when I'm commuting too. I just, because of the nature of what you're doing as far as transport, and you just kind of want to get where you're going. It seems to be a theme for me in my commuting. So this is just a nice, another nice rip. I guess you could see from where we first entered that neighborhood to now, we've kind of dropped a good distance in elevation. I didn't think it would be that much. So right here is that divided lane I was talking about. You just check out the road. It's a little, you can see I had better days. Right here, I'm actually talking about Arroyo Seco right now while I'm skating. You can see it's cool. You can see that it's very divided, very protected, but just overall maintenance is not the greatest. You know, right now there's also a bunch of debris from the leaves dying and things like that. So it's still a good spot though. I still managed some really good miles on it. The only problem the only problem I have with it is that north to south, there's more stops on that versus the road I was just on to connect to this, which is why I started taking that as well. There's less stops north to south, which is another thing I factor into my decisions on how I commute. How many yields, how many stops, all that kind of stuff. So I'm having some really good miles this day. I think it was like, I just hit 6 miles. I didn't see the time, but I do remember that last mile was like 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So for commuting, that's pretty fun, man. I've got a full backpack. I've got, you know, supplies and other in my skate. It's just, my backpack's full right now, so it's pretty cool that I am busting 320 miles. But this is another road that I've just recently started adding, so you see me look down that way, and I'm kind of regretful because the road I'm on right now at this point is not the smoothest, and the road I'm going to get on is not the smoothest. And I looked down that way and it looked a lot smoother, but whatever, you know, like I'm saying, I'm just, don't ever shy away from roads that are not optimal. It's just going to make you stronger as a skater. You know, when it comes, like I'm saying, when it comes to commuting, you might want to find that easier option simply because the order of the day is not to wear yourself out in your skates. But on days whenever you're out there specifically to train, just attack every road, because every road's going to attack you. As cliche as that might want to sound, it's true though. They will eat you up, so you might as well bite them first, man. But you can tell this one's kind of bad. My speed is kind of slowed down. It's a slight climb, but not really. It doesn't feel that way when you're on it. I guess it's kind of getting there a little bit more. But it's just not the smoothest part. Yeah, you can see the little cyclist guy. I think that's really cool how, I don't know if you've been noticing that guy above my speed, above my miles per hour there, but the plane that he's riding on goes up and down according to the surface I'm on. Here comes a little doggy that's barking at me this entire time. Its owner's trying to figure out why it won't cross the road, and I think it's because of me. So I come up here shortly. But let's see, the grade's at 6%. Yeah, I really like these metrics, man. It's really cool. I've got the Mario Kart track up there in the left corner. I've got the elevation, the grade, the direction of travel, miles per hour, pace, mileage. There was that dog and her owner. The duration down there, elevation with the relative elevation change. I think that's the coolest thing, so you can actually see the differences throughout the ride, A to B. I've never been able to see a lot of this stuff visualized like this while I'm actually skating, so I'm really interested. I'm probably going to try to do some of this with some of my training. Again, I really hate pulling away from skating to show people my skating, you know, but maybe there's stuff that people can learn, and so if there's something people can learn from me, that's cool, man. I'll share it. But in all honesty, if I'm Yeah, I just had a Saturday morning stop. And that scooter back there had the same. So I don't know. This commentary is kind of getting away from me. I feel like I've been rambling a bit, but hey, if you've made it this far, I feel the same way. This is all one rip right now, so I'm just going as I watch this thing. I know how the ride felt. I know all those things. So I just kind of been all over the place, but I hope you're pulling something from this. It's a very uninspired video. When I left that morning with the GoPro, I just kind of said, hey, I'm just going to roll. It's ugly outside. I don't feel like focusing too much direct attention on this, so like getting different angles and things like that. So it is what it is. You get what you get. Please give me any comments or feedback, anything. I think I can try to do more of these. I like this commentary, open talk thing I'm doing here. Yeah, like right there, I'm laughing because I just kind of like rolled through that stop again. I just did not care. I was not in a good mood this day. I believe the night before, didn't get any sleep, and I had to skate to the same place, same thing, rinse, wash, repeat. Everyone feels the same way. So, except for I get to roll into work on my skates instead of just driving in my cushy car. But it is what it is, right? So here's a faint bike lane. Like, I'm not just skating in the middle of this road here because this road is a little busy, but the bike lane does exist there. It gets a little sketchy. You'll see this, just cross the arrow there. You'll see this bus on the side here. It's a little tight, especially when there's traffic, but again, Saturday morning, so I don't have to worry about a lot of stuff going on with all that. I was kind of wondering what this bus driver was thinking when I came up, because they were sitting there for a second, and I just come skating by with my GoPro pole. So over here, I'm willing to admit, here comes another snowplow stop. Slow down. I'm willing to admit right here, this was a bad decision on my part. I was hell-bent on crossing at this point. I could have just very well gone down that sidewalk you see in the back there. But no, I was hell-bent on crossing at this point. I took it a little early. That car there, a little too close for comfort for me. Maybe not for you, but I don't take stupid risks when I'm skating, especially when I'm skate commuting. So that's how I feel about that. I probably should have waited, but I knew I was getting a good pace too. So sometimes you got to be careful with that. Don't get stuck on that clock thing, especially when you're commuting. Like, if be smart. Always be smart. That was kind of a stupid move on my part. Lamar there is a very busy road, so nothing major. Obviously that car wasn't that close, but still, I could have made a better decision there. This is another fun little downhillish ride through this shopping center area, shopping center / residential, but pretty dead streets the entire way through. I'm about to get into this neighborhood that has probably, to me, some of the best roads in town, minus the one I chose to take this day. I guess it feels a lot faster the other way, but anyway, this is another busy road, but shoulder check, boom, I can cross. Let's go. Hop the water. I'm just kind of watching along with you guys right now. Actually, here coming up soon will be my 7,000th mile, I think. At least that's what I celebrate on here. I know for sure I hit that at the end of 10K. Or at the end of this commute. About to put the camera up in my face in a celebratory fashion. There it is. But yeah, 7,000 miles, man. I feel pretty good about that. It's taken me, 4 years to do so. First year I started tracking and started working out on my skates, like for fitness. The first year I started doing all that, I only got 215 miles, and I thought I was doing mileage then. I thought I was like, man, I am a training skater. Little did I know how far I could push it and how far I want to, and how much further I'd want to push it. This combination here gets kind of nasty. It's I start climbing and it's that gross asphalt. You can't really tell on this video though. It's not as clear as I'd hope. It's a dark day anyway. But yeah, 7,000 miles. I feel really good about that. This past year was my fastest average speed. I was at 13.41 miles for my 1,641 miles. And this year was different. My speed was probably up a little bit also because I only tracked training sessions and commuting, and in both I'm trying to go as fast as possible. So my speeds were obviously going to be up. I didn't track any group skates or any other like smaller training sessions that intervals or anything like that. So I just kept it very specific. But even though that was the case, it's a general indicator that I'm just getting that the speed gains I desire and I'm working for are getting, my work is showing itself. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, I can definitely say that skate commuting has helped up those numbers. I couldn't tell you the exact mileage I've skate commuted, but it's been a pretty cool process, especially going from somewhere where all you ever did was skate Anarrocker for over a decade, and then you discover a new form of skating, discover whatever you want to call it. But I started getting into this new form of skating. It was already out there. People had obviously already doing it for years, but to me it was new, and it just took hold, and here we are now. Freaking skating across the city just to get to work. Skating thousands of miles in my city. I'm traveling to skate. I've got a sponsor, like a boot sponsor. Like, it's crazy, man. So 7,000 miles, 4 years. My life has changed so much. Physically, I'm a different person. I feel better. Spiritually, I'm more right. When I say spiritually, I mean like mentally, everything, the whole trifecta of what makes us people. And all that I know comes from skating. And skating's always been there in my life. It's always been that for me. And I've never taken a break from skating since I started skating when I was, 14. Like, I've never taken a break. It's evolved, it's changed in my life. The way I've approached skating has changed. Now I'm trying to do speed and endurance skating. Back 10 years ago I was trying to go down crazy rails and stuff. It's all skating to me though. It's all wheels underneath my feet. I never thought that whenever I started skating that it would be this big of a deal in my life for this long. And well, I mean, that's a lie. Actually, the very first time I skated, I knew that it was something I would be hooked on. Did I know the full ramifications of that? No. That's more accurate. Because the first time I skated, we'll get into that story another time, but it involves a hill bomb at a spillway at a lake and a very, very novice, as in first time on skates, beginner named Eric. So maybe we could get into that one some other time. But I'm pretty sure you can guess what happened. So right here, there, you can see there's a bike lane, but I was talking about choosing your battles earlier and knowing your neighborhood. So I just went ahead and said, I'm going to jump on the sidewalk. But it is, I see this truck coming behind me. I see them pass, and then I notice, I do the shoulder check again, and then I notice that the light turned green, so I just jumped back into the road, man. A little funkiness there. I was talking about that footwork. Here comes another good rip. This is Duval. It's just really smooth, and I really like it because I always see cyclists on it, and you can tell they're like, oh, what the hell? So it's mostly I feel like it's in a good way, but just cruising, man. Trying to stick that GoPro out, get a good angle. I wasn't sure about this car, but they double back behind me. Or they turn. Just cruising on it, man. You can maintain a good, solid pace here. 9.5 miles in, so it's about another 1.5 miles till I get to where I'm going, the Frank Irwin Center. Giving the signal. I haven't done that too much in this ride today because I feel like I wasn't on too many roads where it was completely necessary. It's always necessary, but again, it's that I just did not care too much this morning.
Let's just chill on it today.
I'm just gonna chill on this hill bomb here today. This ride we used to use on our Monday night skates all the time here in Austin. It's super fun. There's these speed bumps that you can get air on. But again, you can see whenever I get to the second rip here on this hill, we'll mellow out right here. We'll level out. Just kind of chilling. I'm not trying to push it. I know I've made an excellent speed. I know that I don't have to rush to get into work, so I'm just chilling. Here's one of the speed bumps, but I decided to just jump into it. You know, I'm not trying to like air. I'm not trying to do anything crazy today. I'm just trying to get to work. So it's a little disappointed there because usually I attack that hill. I sprint halfway down the hill and then catch the speed. But I just felt like chilling that day. You just saw me tuck in, put the pole out in front of me, and just go. Caught the corner of that sidewalk there. Yeah, so this is new as well. I used to ride up that sidewalk, up another hill, down into a drop, back up another hill. Now this way, I only have to deal with one little longish climb, and then another sweet payoff on the back end of that. So, again, this is something else I'm probably only going to stick to on the weekends. If it's a weekday, I'm going to go ahead and take that other option I was just talking about. Simply because there's more lights, it's more controlled there. You know, a lot of times cars don't know what to do with skaters, so if I feel like it's going to be an open road that I can skate, I'm going to skate it. If there's another option that's easier, more safe, I'm going to take that too. So always be flexible, I guess, when it comes to skate commuting. Just be prepared to be able to do whatever. Really, once you start figuring out the flow of traffic, once you start figuring out how all that kind of feels while you're skating, it really opens up a ton of possibilities, and you're able to see how you can get through your surroundings the safest, the fastest, and the most efficient. So there's nothing cooler than getting to work or getting anywhere like that and just knowing you got there under your power. I get the same feeling on my bike. On my bike, it's just more of a practical thing. On my skates, it's just way more fun. So, and the tail end of this year, I've been skate commuting a lot more. I hadn't used these dupes that much up to about the first half of this year. A lot of that was because I was hurt for a lot of the time, but I started using them when my bike started having problems, and I honestly haven't even tried to fix my bike again. I've just been riding the dupes. I don't know if you're aware of them, but the dupes have you see the two big buckles there. They're basically like a snowboard binding. Easy in, easy out. I wear my shoes. Right here, I'm waiting for these cars to pass because I want to take this hill for what it's worth. So I am going to try to bomb this hill. And according to Endomondo, I had a higher speed. This was my top speed, but it doesn't reflect that in the Garmin data or in the Verb software. So I'll have to see what happens with that. Maybe later on I can tweak it a little bit more. But this is a nice, fun rip of speed. But yeah, anyway, the dupes have made commuting a ton more convenient, a lot more practical. I don't have to sacrifice an entire pocket of my backpack for an entire compartment of my backpack for my shoes. You know, there's a little less weight, all that kind of stuff, man. It factors in. They're just super convenient in and out. With the Trinity mount, they're super improved. I've been a Shadow and dupe rider forever, and I can honestly say the earlier models were a little flimsier, but for some people, I still enjoyed them. I obviously still enjoyed them because I rode them. But what I'm getting at is if you've had issues with that, the Trinity mount and the new aluminum plate in there, they just help so much, man. It's a super solid skate. I average almost 15 miles an hour on this commute. I don't think that and I'm pretty sure someone else could push these skates further, or push them more. But we're getting to the tail end of this commute here. I just want to emphasize safety. I want everyone to be safe if you try to skate commute. It's a very rewarding, very fun way to get around, way to get to work, mix in a workout, be athletic in the morning or in the evening, you know. But it does come with its dangers. I'd be a liar if I didn't say that it did. But it's nothing that can't be overcome. It's a lot of fun. Just be smart, you know. And people bike every day to work. You can skate to work. I skate to work a lot. So you can do it. It's a lot of fun. I just want to emphasize, just please be careful. Wear your helmet. Light yourself up. These guys just blocked me, but I'm getting to the tail end of this. If you've made it this far, I very much appreciate it. Some of the stuff felt rushed. There's little dead spots here and there, but this is just a free flow. I'm just trying to figure it out right now. So just leave any comments. I arrived at the golden conch. The conch of life. So alright, man, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I know it's a journey.
So I'm just gonna get delayered and go inside, see what our time was first. I honestly don't know which way the wind's coming from anymore. It's a freaking commute. 4-minute miles on a Saturday morning, almost a 15 mile an hour average. Max speed almost 30 miles an hour for 44 minutes. Oh yeah, also, I'm at 7,000 lifetime miles. That's pretty cool, man. Yeah. Alright, yeah, like I said, I'm sorry this video is so uninspired. I don't know, at least I did the whole rip of it, so I got something to work with. All right, time for work.